Decided to dice the video into 2 parts.
Part 1 will cover 4 key topics. A. How we solve a service yard hacking issue with this wonderful thing called Cerarl Panels. B. Important design tips for mortar base and carpentry to allow accessibility of kitchen floor traps and pipes. C. Sintered stonetop tips. And D. Something most of you have been waiting for, unveiling our super rare flush mount sink and explain why you should consider one too.
Part 2 will cover our full kitchen carpentry tour and even more tips, from our microwave pocket door to our self-designed arc dish rack. For those planning a smart home, we also showcase our smart things setup in our kitchen, including how we integrated our Samsung smart fridge with our Ring doorbell and even our TV. We also share super important tips relating to hood installation, and nice to haves such as JustTech 3M solar films, our retractable insect screen, and tips you never knew you needed.
With the completion of our kitchen, our renovation journey has come to a close. Let's go back down memory lane one last time to see how our kitchen was transformed.
The kitchen was the last to be completed because of the specific sequence of activities as you have seen in our time-lapse timeline.
Let's go through the transformation of the kitchen, starting with hacking works. Sam literally hacked the service yard because we don't really see its point and we wanted a more spacious kitchen and seamless countertop.
Some have tried to explain that the service yard helps to protect clothes from the cooking. We explained briefly that it is counterintuitive in our hacking episode and thought to illustrate it this time because we don't want this to be your Reno regret. Whenever we do cooking, we will be sure to open the windows for ventilation. Our clothes will be moved to this retractable clothesline as seen in our walk-in wardrobe episode.
Now imagine if you have a separate service yard. When you are cooking, you will want to ventilate the kitchen, right? You have 2 choices. Would you prefer to let the fumes and steam enter the rest of the house? Or would you want to circulate and dilute with fresher air? If you say you want fresher air, this means that you need to open the service yard doors and then also open the service yard windows and keep all your clothes. So you end up with the same outcome of keeping all your clothes.
Hacking the service yard is not suitable for those who are not doing major works like tiling. Here's why. There's a wall leveling issue caused by the hacking because the kitchen walls are tiled and the service yard walls are not. You can build a partition wall to flush it, but there will still be this awkward transition which you can't just leave it be. The real challenge is actually this giant wall backsplash which needs to cover the entire wall. Having a giant glass or sintered stone backsplash for this entire wall segment makes neither physical nor economic sense. We thought about large format tiles, but our ID said the partition walls are likely to be able to support them. For some time we didn't have any solution. Eventually we also found this Japanese fiberglass product called Cerarl Panels, which are a perfect solution for us. As its name suggests, they come in panels sized 3 by 8 feet and could simply be pasted onto any surface.
The Cerarl panels are amazing. It's like a thinner and lighter version of tiles with high resistance to water, fire, impact, stain, and comes with antibacterial properties. These are in fact typically used in clinics, hotel and other commercial spaces, but perfect for home spaces like kitchens as well.
Originally, our ID and the contractor proposed 3 panels laid vertically for this wall, but we had a think and realized that laying 2 of them horizontally makes more sense and saves us the cost of a third panel.
As for when this panel should go up, we kept telling our ID to have the panels go up first before the countertop skirting, and we still can't remember why this got ignored. Let us show you what we mean and you decide which method makes more sense. Method A. Put the backsplash first, followed by the skirting, which gives you an equal thickness on all sides with or without backsplash. Or Method B. Put the skirting first, then put the backsplash on top of it, which gives you visual asymmetry. We wanted Method A, but our ID went with Method B, perhaps for convenience of the sintered stone vendors. This resulted in the backsplash skirting looking lopsided, a tiny detail that we made peace with, but possibly important for those who are more particular.
Like all backsplash, it's important to tell your ID or contractor don't simply take measurements length times breadth like what our measurer did. Your walls and beams are unlikely to be straight. When the contractors came to install the panels, they had to cut quite a lot of times because of the tapering walls and beams. Thankfully, it all worked out with the expertise of this gentleman. This is also the beauty about Cerarl panels because it is much easier to work with compared to other types of backsplashes.
We also decided to install a panel for the kitchen entrance beam so that it doesn't end abruptly on the left. And since we are at it, we decided to get one for the service yard beam as well. Both beams were originally the HDB white kitchen wall tiles that came with the flat. In case you are wondering, this service yard beam cannot be hacked because there are water pipes in it. Cerarl panel is also used to overlay on this tiny door to give it a seamless look with the rest of the wall. We got our carpenter to help build this tic-tac door to conceal the common bath window. More on this later.
A very faint line will definitely exist in between panels. This is more obvious for clean-cut designs and lighter colours. It also depends on the skill of our installer to be able to tighten the gap. Once white silicone was cramped in, it became less noticeable. As you'll see later on, this is also mostly hidden by our hood. This is how the edges of a Cerarl panel looks like. It's slightly yellow and jarring. Our kitchen looked like this after installation and it feels quite unfinished, especially with the hand-cut edges like our tic-tac window.
We asked if there's a trimming of sorts they could do and the installer said there is. Wonder why it was not automatically done for us. The trimmings look like this and simply clip on the edges to give it a more refined look. Unfortunately, they took 1 month to arrive. But it was worth the wait. The biggest difference was observed at the tic-tac window. Here's how it looked like before and after. As there are 2 square borders, this also helped to reduce the visual gap, making it more seamless. It cost about $40 for one long piece. For the service yard beam, one trick that our installer suggested is to plaster over the trimming and the beam so that there is a flush look. He even was kind enough to help us do it out of goodwill.
This is the final look of our Cerarl panels. We have a total of 5 panels used, 1 at the kitchen entrance beam, 1 as a backsplash at the kitchen sink side, 1 for the original service yard unhackable beam, and 2 for this giant wall. The horizontal joint is more or less completely covered by the hood and our old school life-fight roll holder. Access panel was also used for this tic-tac window. This is our common bathroom window and here's how we ventilate it from time to time.
Okay, let's go back to the past. For the kitchen, the next major step after hacking is tiling works. We highly recommend doing a mortar base as this is a very wet area and you definitely want to protect your carpentry from water damage. When it comes to mortar base, we always wonder what will happen to the floor traps after carpentry is placed atop the mortar base. This is how our mortar base looks like. It's actually difficult to explain in words and we are swakus, so don't get all technical on us as we try to share our layman understanding. We
spoke to different homeowners and have seen different ways of doing this. There are 4 main approaches observed. Option A. Completely sealing one or even both floor traps off for good, which means you no longer have access to them. Honestly, why would you do that? Option B. Completely seal it off for good but still allow access to the floor trap from the inside of the carpentry. If like that, might as well don't bother. Option C. Create a subterranean channel that still allows water to flow to the floor trap. I better hope that nothing ever gets stuck or chocked because once the carpentry is laid on top, you will need to not only saw the carpentry but also hack the mortar base. Option D. This is what our tiler did. Pun intended.
Lame.
He created an open canal. The difference with the subterranean option is that in the unlikely event described previously, all you need to do is to simply saw through the carpentry and you can immediately access it. No mortar base below, so no hacking involved.
And here's the final look. Basically, there's a little secret entrance made from tiles that flushes with the rest of the mortar base skirting. Inside the carpentry, the carpenter cut the hole for us to access the floor trap. As floor traps tend to be of high moisture, some homeowners have shared that their carpentry actually turned moldy. Thus, we cut the tile and inverted it smooth side down. Also, if you ever stick your hand in there, the smooth side down will be kind to your hands.
Moving on to the other floor trap, similarly there's a secret entrance done by the tiler, followed by a removable wood piece camouflaged with an internal PVC hat done by our carpenter. And underneath the carpentry rest and inverted tile, there's slidable to reveal the floor trap. Don't forget to vacuum the insides, there's really a lot of sawdust. To close it back and mitigate moisture seeping into the carpentry, simply push the slidable tile. Not sure if this is the best method, but it made sense to us. Hope it made sense to you too.
Remember how our house looked like on moving day? Time flies indeed. We survived 3 weeks without carpentry, which also means no sink to wash hands or cutleries, no fridge and lots of dust. Our carpentry fabrication is done in Malaysia and took 8 weeks from measurement date. The carpenters weren't able to advise on the timing, and truth be told, that was draining, as without carpentry life was quite a standstill. But when the carpentry arrived, we were genuinely surprised at how amazing the workmanship is. My parents, who also have a BTO in the same project, used the same ID firm but had a different ID and different carpenter vendor. Their workmanship and quality is super bad, so it's really heng sui one. We will share more about my parents' carpentry nightmare later in this video.
We mentioned previously that you should try to be on site when the carpenters are around. As we are living in the house already, we had the opportunity to clarify and modify little details on the spot. For instance, in our service yard pipes box up, we salvaged some excess planks and repurposed them into shelves, and requested our carpenter to build a ledge for us to store detergents and stuff. The next tip is important for those who are doing a box up of the pipes. The original design of our box up was inaccessible. We asked our carpenter to help do a cutout for the backing to make it detachable, so if something dropped down, or if we need to do something to the washer's pipe, we can quickly access it worry-free. And yes, you should buy this entire insect cover for your washing machine pipe. This costs just a couple of bucks and you can find them easily on Lazada or Shopee.
Speaking of pipes, make sure you sand down the pipes, paint them and clean them up prior to carpentry, as it will be hard to do so next time without creating a mess. Do you recall Sam hard at work doing this? While the carpenters are still around, make sure you test and open up all the drawers and cabinet doors at once to make sure they can all fully open up without hitting each other. If they langgar, it could be a simple fix of the hinge or they might have to redo.
Once carpentry is up, we got a stonemaker to quickly come around and take measurements. This is quite cool. We never knew they use such technologies to map out the surface areas. Trypophobic stickers are what they do for the movies with mocap and stuff. Being on site during measurement, they also give us an opportunity to ask or get asked questions by the vendor. For instance, our vendor asked if we're alright to have the cuts as such, which would result in quite a long joint line across the countertop. We asked if we could shift the joint to have it covered by the hob so that the visible joint line is as minimal as possible. The vendor agreed, and finally 11 days later, our sintered stone tops are installed.
In case you are wondering what are these 4 holes, it's to protect the thin sintered stone edges from breaking during transport and will be hand cut by the workers on site. We didn't expect there to be messy works. We already moved in and even had guests over for dinner. Anyway, the hob is simply laid atop sintered stone like that. We can simply lift it up and down anytime. Is this correct? Let us know in the comment section down below. One tip we learned from our tiling experience, remember these term mitered edges, aka 45-degree angled cuts? We requested our sintered stone makers to do this for the countertop skirting. This looks much better than the usual cut that would have been given otherwise. For example, here's how the default skirting looked like from our master bath. You can see the different colored edges of the stone.
All in all, we are very pleased with our sintered stone, especially their attention to detail. Just look at how the design of marbling flows from slab to skirting. We are glad this is done automatically without us requesting for it. Let's talk about the most stressful thing in our kitchen, our flush mount sink. The Blanco del Lago 8F is our dream sink, and it took us months to hunt it down and months to ship it over from Germany with the help of Cerarl. A flush mount sink is a must-have for us, and for whatever reasons, these are super rare in Singapore. In fact, not many people know about flush mount sinks, often confusing it with top or bottom mount.
This is the main reason why we do not want a bottom mount sink. We dug out this old footage from our rental days. Mold is always respawning at the crevice. No matter how much we clean, the next day the tissue will turn black again. Top mount sinks can be worse as water, oil and food gathers at the silicone edges, making it slimy and moldy over time. Anyway, our sintered stone makers actually had to bring back our flush mount sink so that they could hand cut the sintered stone. We held our breath as the vendor placed the sink in its home, expecting something to go wrong, but thankfully it all fits. This was not an easy journey, and we really want to thank our ID, carpenters and sintered stone makers for bringing our flush mount sink to life.
We also specifically chose a Blanco del Lago 8F because it has this latch. This is a super important requirement to us because, again, from our rental experience, we really dislike countertop faucets because they are impractical. The Lai family shared this exact issue on their IG. The countertop will be super wet after each hand wash, and the countertop will be full of rags, diatomic mats that turn moldy, and even trap water beneath. The Lai family found a good product to solve their issue, so do check out their IG at Home of the Lions.
This latch also allows us to place our soap dispenser so your wet hands don't need to extend out onto the countertop. This is how wet our sink area gets after a hand wash. The material is Blanco's classic seal granite, which is a granite composite making it extremely scratch and stain resistant. Aesthetic-wise, the sink comes with 8 different colours and matching faucets and soap dispensers. We originally wanted the cream coloured ones but chickened out because it's simply not practical. I imagine it wouldn't hold up well in Asia with our curries and sauces.
We went for the coffee colour and also got the matching faucet, the Blanco Carina S Vero sink pull-out mixer, as well as a matching Blanco Lato soap dispenser. You also need to decide if you're getting the soap dispenser early on so that your vendor can help to cut a hole on the left side of the sink for you. A pull-out mixer is very important to maintain cleanliness of the sink, especially to zap away leftovers that often get trapped at the corners.
We did our research thoroughly and this is the best flush mount sink set that we found. These products cannot be bought off the shelf in Singapore and require you to find a distributor to indent them from overseas. We got our full set from Cerarl. If you want the same set as us, email them and code TSK to enjoy a discount. Refer to our video description box below for more details.